Oh yeah, so I just today again I just want to talk about a couple of things. Was the uh, more about the quarantine. I already talked a little bit about this on one of my other videos, but anyways, something strange and something weird that had been on my mind. I actually thought about a while ago too, but I don't know, just didn't come to my mind yet to make a video about it or whatever. But and I was like, dude, I knew something was weird about this. But anyways, so if you listen to all of my stories or whatever, and a lot of this stuff, anyways, this happened probably, like, I would say it's probably at least maybe like 3 years ago or longer. It had to be right around there, like at least pretty close to like 3 years or something like that ago. And so anyways, it was about the whole quarantine thing. Okay, so listen, so if you heard my story or like you watched the gang stalking stuff or the story about God and gang stalking left and right and all that, and some of my other stories, you'll see that, I talk about all this crazy stuff that went on and everything, but that happened to me. But anyway, so I'm not going to talk about that stuff right now. I just want to tell you about this quarantine thing that I wanted to tell you about when all that stuff happened. If you're watching this video and you're interested in it, watch the gang stalking video, my first video. That will basically tell you most of the story. But anyway, so when all that stuff happened to me, and how I thought like my computer was totally being monitored and hacked and people were messing with it, probably though my whole entire computer was probably monitored, everything. I'm sure it probably still is. Oh shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But anyway, so at that time, like, I thought my whole computer, like, weird stuff would always happen to it and all this crap, just like everything else that was happening to me at the same time. I'd have missing stuff in my house, my car, my whole entire glove compartment or whatever would be all in my car, opened up, papers thrown everywhere and everything like that. So I think so when I thought my computer and everything was being monitored around this time, and this is the point where, at this point in time that I'm talking about, like, drugged, my whole life was bombarded, like cameras in my house, audio, totally surveilled, outside, playing head games, stuff in my house, cars, everything missing, knowing that my cell phone, computers, surveilled, monitored. Like I said, when I went to buy my tickets too, or this is around the same time, like went to Florida, and I tell this in the story, and I go buy my tickets, and what do you know? Everything ready, boom, press the button to buy my tickets, and what do you know? Jeez, all of a sudden the computer started freezing. The little freeze button just kept going. I'm like, okay, bro, that happened to me a few times. So weird stuff like that would happen. Obviously things that don't seem like an accident. So like I said, but anyway, so to get to the story, at my old house around this time, like around 3 years ago or so, what I would do is I noticed that when I'd go to log in, like, your wireless connection, you have like the names of all the wireless, the Wi-Fi's you can connect to or whatever in the area. And again, like, I always thought there was weird stuff on there and stuff, especially at that point, like just stuff to mess with me and all this. And one of them at one point just said quarantine, like straight up, like it wasn't letters, numbers, it just said quarantine. I was like, and I was, in my mind, thought it wasn't just that I thought it was weird. Now looking back, at that point in time in my mind, I thought it was weird. And again, remember, I thought at that point, remembering how I thought when I saw it, I felt it was directed towards me. And so that's why it's stuck in my mind. Like, and it just said quarantine, super weird, super odd. Sure, anyone could have that as their Wi-Fi thing. But again, remember at that point in time, so this had nothing to do with the quarantine. Now, I felt at that moment in time like it was directed towards me in some fashion. And like it was weird, like quarantine, like, okay. And the reason also too why it stuck out and why I remembered it is also that that's how I felt. Because at that point in time, remember, I had lost my job. I had basically no money, like trapped in my house, pretty much. It felt like, and then like all the weird stuff that was going on, and stuff missing, all this. When I go outside, people like basically mocking me and stuff or whatever, and all these other things. And it's like, that's how I felt. I felt like I was quarantined. And because I remember seeing it and going like, and feeling like it was directed at me basically. I'm going like, funny, because that's basically kind of how I feel, like I was being quarantined. And the reason why I probably felt like that is because I thought whoever put the quarantine thing on there knew I was probably going to see it. And it was like they were quarantining me or whatever. And again, like that's how I felt, because like I was like stuck in my house, like I was being like quarantined by like some outside group, because you take away someone's money, their ability to work, all these other things, and trap them. It's like they were like trying, it's like they were doing some self-made quarantine for me or something. It honestly did feel like that. And like if you watch my other videos, like what I said at that point in time, like it felt like literally I just got dropped off by like a freaking UFO or something. Like I'm not even kidding. I'm talking about when I woke up from the hotel. And again, this is in my book and in other videos. So I just want to touch up on this. If you're interested in that, you can read up on that. But what I was saying is that's kind of how I felt. Like, dude, it honestly felt like I might as well have just been dropped off by a UFO at that hotel. Like I just died and was like, boop, 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 I just got dropped off by a UFO. Like that's what it felt like no joke. Like I just got placed there and I was like, and it was like, besides like feeling like I was quarantined for whatever the reason it was like, it was like maybe like they really, I was being like, that's what it felt like. Like they also knew something weird happened and they're like, we gotta quarantine this guy, let's do a little self-quarantine. Hey, take away his money, take away this, mess with his dome, just sitting in my house twiddling my dang thumbs, motherfucker. And so anyway, so what I thought was weird with that is now there's the quarantine. And listen, and for those who think, oh, you just thought about something like quarantine, big deal, anyone could have thought about that. Okay, but think about that. That was almost 3 years ago, and I remembered it. And the reason why I remembered it so much and so vividly and so well is because it impacted me, because I felt it was directed towards me. Do you get that? So what I'm saying is that in some form or fashion that I knew, I was like, quarantine, I was like, that's weird as heck, dude. And being meaning that it was directed towards me at the time. Again, like I say, I felt like it was like them mocking me, like, haha, we're doing a self-quarantine on you. Woo, Gipper. Like, we're giving you your own little self-quarantine, whether you like it or not. Little old government, US of A, coming straight for you. How do you like it? No, I'm kidding. That's what it felt like. And again, and then but then now the quarantine actually happened. Like I said, and I was looking back on that and all the weird stuff that's happening to me with that. And I remember, and like I said, it impacted me that much. I still remember it. So I did feel that someone obviously did that on purpose, which, if I remember that long ago, I'm pretty sure probably was, right? And just the fact that seeing that was so weird. And so, again, what I'm getting at is now there's a quarantine. I look back at that, I'm like, dude, no wonder I thought that was weird. It was directed towards me. Someone did know something. So that was like some sort of, I guess like a foreshadowing event or whatever you want to call it, or someone knew about it or something, right? Or it just wasn't something that just didn't mean anything. Because again, if I didn't feel that way or something, I would have saw it and not thought anything of it, and I would have never remembered it. But and so what I'm saying is that, so it seemed like it was something pre-told or something, like someone knew about it. So the question is, looking back and then I go, dude, no wonder why all this stuff in someone's saying quarantine and now they did the quarantine, is that, so someone seemed to know about it. Was that planned? Like someone knew and this whole thing was set up from that point, like 3 years ago or so, or whatever, around that time? Like this was already, like at that point in time, they already knew, like that's what they were going to do. And that's why they put quarantine on there, because they knew I'd remember it, or whoever did or whatever. And that, so I know that 2, 3, 4, however many years within that time frame, uh, that there's going to be a quarantine. So was it planned like in advance, like that long ago, and people did know about it, and it is a lie or something like that? Or like I said, things were so weird. What happened to me, like, felt like I might as well just been dropped off by a UFO. Like that's how weird things was, and everything happening around me, and that was it something that was pre-planned by like government or something or whatever, or was this something that was like I said, like I talk about like time travel or something like that, like someone knew this whole quarantine thing was going to happen, was like trying to tell me, like when I was on here, like someone was trying to tell me like that's what was going to happen, like the quarantine, because they knew, at least I would know, that it was, whether it was going to happen or not, the whole quarantine thing. And so I just wanted to point that out and talk about that on the video, and that I remembered it, and I thought it was extremely odd. So people who are thinking, no, that's, made up or not weird. Okay, well, I mean, there's another perfect example. So someone knew something here, okay? I'm just kidding. So besides the whole quarantine thing, and like that was the main thing I want to talk about, was with the on my wireless, like that long time ago, and just like quarantine, how weird that was. Now here's a quarantine. So someone knew it was like some sort of like, either someone was warning me or telling me like whatever. Like I said, like if you experience what I experienced and thinking about someone from the future, time travel, that ain't no nothing. You'd be like, that's a normal day. I wouldn't even think about twice about it. Like that's how it was. So was it something like that, like someone from the future letting me know like this was gonna happen in the quarantine, or was it something like it was already at that point in time, like the government or someone already knew, and it's like they already knew at that point they were planning on doing it, which like I said, probably around like 3 years ago or so. And like, was it already set in motion at that point? Like what? Either way, which one you look at it, well, here we are, the quarantine. And then I also wanted to talk about something from my book, and I write about it in the book, and I write about it in detail, how I felt, and I hope that when people do read it, that obviously, if without experiencing it, it's probably kind of weird. So I want to make it as detailed as possible in how those things were happening in my book, and that that when you read it, at least it'd be something that you could comprehend, or be. I don't even know if you could, but I was trying to make it in a way so you could understand it, like it would at least maybe kind of make sense. For people who obviously would be like, what? This sounds weird as heck and don't make sense. But I felt I could say it in a way, or at least explain it, that it would make sense, at least to people, or they could at least see. And anyways, I wanted to just talk about more about that, was so the control of people, and the things that were happening to me. More in detail, just me talking about, because like I said, I talked about it in the book, but it's something that I want to talk about further. So I'll give you a scenario, so you say this doesn't make sense, so like people are being controlled, or and also I want to talk about like, why would you think, okay, at that point in time, like you thought you were dead or like in hell, the control of people. So it was really the control of people around me, like I was saying, that made me, at a certain point in time, you have to step back and be like, okay, like what the F is going on here, because at a certain point in time you go, this isn't normal, right? Or it's not, I mean, that would be like, this isn't real. So it's like, what the like, I'm either in some like freaking Twilight Zone, okay, or like dreaming, or I'm in like hell or some form of weird dimension. And that's why I write my book. And so for people who say, well, that seems weird, what would make you think that? Well, I'll tell you. So mainly it was the control of the people around me was super odd. And so for people who are saying, oh, it's probably just something in your head, man, You were focusing on it. You had all these hard times going on. You're probably looking out for every little thing and making it into something it's not. Well, that's not the case. And again, I'm sure that's something that probably like a psychologist or like a therapist or someone would probably also, tell someone. Unless you experience it or someone saying that, right? That's something that they would maybe probably tell someone, like, oh man, it's in your head, dude. Like, you're just thinking about it, man. You're negative and you're allowed to look for it and all this. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that would be something someone would say, but that wasn't it. Because it happened so much at a certain time, and I'll get into it exactly, is that you take a step back and you're like, what? Like, you just want to sit there and be like, what's going, like, this is weird. Okay, like, and so at that point, that's when you know something's not normal. And so to get into it, so for instance, let's say you have, you're sitting in your room, just whatever, watching TV, and let's say there's like one other person in your house, or like maybe two people, and they're both in the room sitting in their rooms, okay? And and let's say that you get up, you get food to eat, maybe go in the living room, kick it. It's been 30 minutes, an hour. You don't even see anyone because they're just sitting in their rooms. And let's say your family member, the people in your house, you know how long people typically stay in their room, how long they come out, things like that, what they do, pop into the bathroom, get some need or whatever, go back in. But what I'm saying is that, so I'm talking about people who are being in their room for long, very long periods of time, sure, come out every once in a while for this or that, right? So you have long intervals or gaps where people are just going to be sitting in their room 30 minutes straight, an hour straight, not coming out, not going to the bathroom, right? That's normal, right? People do that, sit in their room, watch TV, whatever, read, go on the computer. Anyway, so, and what I'm getting at, so what happened to me was that at a certain point in time, I'd be sitting in my room, for instance, and the main thing I also want to get here is it was mainly about thought. So that was the main thing. It's about your thought. As soon as I had the thought, as soon as my brain, before I even do anything or before I get up or something like that, it was based on my thought. And that was was even the weirdest part about it. It's like, dude, and the most annoyingest part about it. But anyways, what would happen was I'd be in my room, and let's say I'd have a thought, I'd be like, I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get a drink of water, and we have those thoughts, right? When you're watching TV or something, you may have that thought like, oh, I'm going to go get a drink of water, bite to eat or something, food in the kitchen, like in a couple minutes or so. It just, the little thoughts, or, oh, I'm going to get up after this show's on, like at commercial break or something real fast in like a minute and go get some. Or you just have that thought in your moment right then, like, I'm thirsty, and to get up, get something to drink. What would happen to me is I would do that. I'd be sitting in my room, whatever, no one's come out of the room, say my door's open, I can see, if someone's come out or hear them, and no one's been out for a long time, and I'd have the thought, oh, I'm going to get a drink of water or whatever. And I'd freaking go and get up, and like I go and get up to go out of my room, and like as soon as I like walk out the door, whether the door was open or closed or whatever, as soon as I step through the door or open it, there'd be like, say, the room next to me or whatever, all of a sudden they would freaking, like, they would open the door like at the same exact time, like as soon as I'm walking out the door, and like they'd open the door like the exact moment, dude. Like, I'm not even joking or playing here, like simultaneously, and they'd open the door as I'm coming out, and we'd both be coming out like at the same time, and it was like you'd be looking at each other, and it was like a race, dude. It's like, what the like they're sitting there and they're going, like, and they go with me and they walk to the kitchen with me, but but mainly what would happen besides it, like coming out at the same time would be like, so let's say I had a thought, a drink of water, I'd go get up and all right, I'll go get a drink of water. And right when I get up to go, all of a sudden someone will come out of their room, say, like I said, from one of the bedrooms, and I'd be walking to the kitchen. I'd hear them or see them. They come out of the room after they've been sitting in the room for 30 minutes or an hour. They go in there. They go into the kitchen, and I'd be like just walking to the kitchen, and like as I'm walking up there, I'm like, and I'd see them. And they'd just go straight to like the refrigerator and go do do do, and they'd open the door, and then they get themselves a nice get a nice glass of water, and be going like. Take a little swig. Like, and they'd freaking get water from the refrigerator, and I'd be like just behind them or whatever, like just walking in the kitchen. I see them, and I'm like, okay, they're getting water. That's what I was getting or whatever, And I'd be like, okay, that's normal, right? You'd probably be like that, that might annoy you, right? Even at the first time, but you're not thinking about like people are controlled. What I'm talking about is, so that would happen to me. I noticed that it started happening every time, or like super high rate. Imagine, so I didn't just think like, oh, I went to get a drink of water. Someone went before me and got water at the same time. Oh my gosh, big deal. And I made a huge deal. No, it's never like that, because it took a while for me to be like, oh, what's going on here? This is weird. So I didn't just automatically, oh, someone got the water before me. No, it wasn't like that. So what happened was, that would happen. And then say I go back into my room again, be chilling, watching TV or whatever. Everyone's back in their rooms again. 30 minutes go by. No one's come out of the room. Everyone's just chilling in their room, whatever, watching TV and stuff like that. And they just be hanging out. And then I have another thought, right? We're normal. Say, go get a slice of pizza. Say there's some pizza in the fridge. I'm hungry now. I'm going to go get that. There's a few slices left or whatever. I'm going to go get a slice of pizza, pepperoni, and, whatever. Come back to the room. As soon as that thought comes to my head and I get up, so what would happen is, as soon as I would get up, just like that, I get up, get out of my room and start walking to the kitchen for, the thought, go get pizza. And I'd be going in there and someone would come out of the room again. And I mean, I'd be walking there and like, it would be at the timing of it. So it would be like, as I'm walking out, right? And then they just, boo-boo. All of a sudden, I hear a door open, someone goes, and it pops out of the room. And it, like I said, it's like literally almost like it was a race, dude. All of a sudden they come out like this, and like the door would open, they'd all come out. And I'm sitting there, and so I'd be walking and then they walk, and I'd be like, okay, but like, please do not go to the kitchen or to the refrigerator and get food. And then so I'd be walking, and then they'd come out right before me and go, like, and then go straight to the kitchen, and then I'd be right behind them, and then they'd go to the refrigerator, and I'd be like staring at them, like, and then they'd be like, they'd be like, let me get a little slice of pizza for me, oh yeah. And then they'd be like, and they'd be opening up like the Ziploc bag, and like, bam, 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 throwing some pizza out, and they'd slice up, and they'd freaking toss some pizza on, and they'd be like, and take a bite of the pizza, like right at the refrigerator, like, woo-hoo, like right in front of me, and I'm just staring, I'm like what? I'm like, what is going on right now? And remember, because it would be specific things like that, like I wanted pizza. I mean, you can get anything, get water again, go somewhere else, do something else, but I'd be going specifically for pizza. And again, they come right before me and then go do 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 do, and then they'd be like sitting there, and I'm watching them as they're like putting pizza on their plate, dude. Like, oh, take the last slice, ooh. Or something like that. And so they would get like, they'd be taking the pizza, and I'm like right in front of me, and they're like popping in the microwave, like woohoo, and I'm like just staring at them like this is not happening. And I'd be like, dude, what the and again, still at this point, I'm not even, still probably even thought about it. I'm just like, dude. And then again, go back to my room. be kicking it, whatever, hanging out again, watching TV. Hey, now I have another thought. An hour or 30 minutes go by. Then again, remember, I know when people are coming out of the room or not, or how long. And usually, right, it's usually something quick. I get some, like water, bathroom real fast, go back to the room, kick it. And again, like I was saying, is I have another thought, like I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'd get up to go to the bathroom again. I'd open the door or something like that. And as soon as I open the door, the room next to me or something would be like, and like we'd open the doors at the same times when we're like, and like I'm like I'm just like trying to go to the bathroom, dude. And I'm like, what the freak, dude? Like this is weird. And I'm freaking opening the door and like they're opening at the same time me and they're going, and they go to the bathroom too and they just go, boo, boo, boo. And I'm like walking with them and they just go, and like bolt into the bathroom real fast and close it and go to the bathroom like, what the and then I'd be staring there like, what the heck? And then I'd just be standing there like, is this like a joke or something? Like Truman Show, like these got some earpieces all up in there or something. And I'm just be sitting there like, what's good? I'm like, okay, bathroom. All right. And they go to the bathroom, I sit there, wait, they go back, I go to the bathroom, go back to my room. 10 minutes go by. Everyone's back in the room. I go, time for some more water. Get myself a little canned soda pop. I'll come out of my room. Or like sometimes before at the same exact time, it'll be like just before me, like as I have like the thought, as soon as the thought hits my head, like I'm going to go get a soda. All of a sudden I hear feet stomping, wrestling around. All of a sudden, like as soon as the thought came in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna get a soda right now, bro, man, that's gonna be legit. And then all of a sudden I hear door open, and as I'm getting up too, and I'm going in there, and it's like, dude, and then all of a sudden I'm walking out, someone goes doo 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 doo, I'm right behind them, and they're going to the kitchen. Out of all the places, I mean, they can go anywhere. Outside, twirl a ball outside for a little bit, whatever. Play some basketball, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, whatever. Kick it in the living room. But nope, head straight to the refrigerator. I'm like walking behind them, dude, like we're in a freaking line. Like, what the F is going on here? And we're like trailing each other and stuff. And they'll go into the kitchen and they'll go to the refrigerator. I'm like, do not, like, right, even if they got pizza or a drink or something, that'd still be annoying, right? Like they went before me, but nope. Then they'll be like, get a little soda. And they'll be like, go, 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 go. And then just kick it out of the fridge. Take a couple of swigs. At the fridge, and I'm just standing there like, and they're freaking like drinking the soda. And I'm like, what? So these are and this is a prime example. Now imagine that I go back to my room, kicking it or hanging out, whatever, for like 30 minutes, hour. Same thing will happen. Say, I want to go watch TV in the living room now, or put on a movie out, and no one's out there. Go on the sofa. I'll walk out to the sofa, and as I'm walking out there, no one's out, and then all of a sudden, like someone from the side door back, boop boop boop. And they freaking walk out, and like as I'm already like walking out and I can see the living room, like they'll come sweep around the corner and they'll like walk right in front of me, and like right before I can grab the clicker or something to turn on TV, they'll be like, and I'm like, what the and they'll turn on the TV and then they'll start watching. I'm like, so think about it. I'm not just sitting here. It was never a negative thought or perception in my mind that like, they got a soda and a pizza and all, they got it before me. No, wasn't just like that, and I get mad about it. But what happened was, what I'm saying is that exact same thing, the thought, the exact timing, it was happening all day long, like all day, every day, for super long periods of time, until it only took, I don't know how long for me to realize. But what I'm saying is, at a certain point in time, I was like, that happening over and over and doing the same exact thing as what I wanted to do. Like, I want to go to the bathroom, they go to the bathroom. Get specific things, like I want to get a canned soda, they go get a canned soda right before me. I want to get freaking a breadstick that's in the refrigerator. Do it. I'll go out and they'll be grabbing a breadstick. right as you have to realize as I'm coming out, and they go right before me and go there, and it's like, so that happened. After that happened so many times in a row, I wasn't looking for it. It was never a negative perception of me towards other people thinking that, like, I'm thinking negative, like they're trying to do this before me or whatever. It's not like that. It was just the reality. It was a fact. It wasn't a perception or a negative thought that I was having. And so what happened was that kept happening over and over. At a certain point in time, I was like, whoa. I was like, how long does it take you before you stop and realize that? To everyone. I mean, that would happen to anyone. At a certain point in time, that happening to you over and over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to realize it. It's going to become really clear. No matter who you are, at a certain point in time, that happening to you all day long, everywhere you go to, is that you're going to realize it. And so it's not a perception. It's not my perception of what's going on of other people. It's what was actually happening. Okay? And you realize that happening at the same time over and over again, that you step back at a certain point, like I said, and you go, this isn't real. Like, what's going on here? And then once you realize it, then you realize is like, so what? This isn't real. I'm dead. Like, because you realize that it can't happen. You realize that's impossible. Basically, is your thought. You're thinking like, this is unreal. Like, I'm dreaming. And again, remember, anyone would think that. It wouldn't just be a perception. If that happened to anyone would realize that. At a certain point, you're gonna think like you would think like me, or, I mean, obviously, everyone has their own interpretations or how they feel and things like that. So you may not feel or think like me, but what I'm saying is that at a certain point in time, that happening to you, you're gonna realize the same thing, and you probably will. You probably will have the same thoughts going through your head. Then you'll probably step back and be like, okay. And so and that's what happened to me. And again, like I said, if it happened like that to most people, I'm sure they would be feeling the same thoughts. And so the thoughts that start coming up in your head is, this isn't real, right? And if it isn't real, then what's happening? Am I dead? Did I die? Am I in hell? Is this some form of hell, some dimension in hell or something? Because, right, it's not real. This isn't happening. And so when you read my book and when I talk about like I felt like and I thought I was in hell and some weird dimension, that's what I'm talking about, because you realize it's not possible. Or what you think is possible, that this can't be happening. It's not real. And so, and imagine that was not for a few days, that they kept happening all day, every day, for long periods of time. And so you go, or what you do is like another thought you would think of, they're in on it. You're like, your family's in on it. Like, because at a certain point, like I said, you realize this isn't real. It's not possible for that to happen. Like, oh, I'm going to be very specific. I'm going to go get the cheesecake that's buried in the freezer that's been sitting there for 6 months. I'm going to take it out and get a slice of it. Okay. Someone that no one's touched it in however long. And then as soon as you get up to go do that, someone goes in there, goes to the refrigerator, and get that little cheesecake out, right? And pulls it out right in front of you. And you're like, and so again, remember, imagining that's what I'm talking about. And if you can imagine that, you say, well, that's not unreasonable to start thinking you're dead, you're in hell, this is not possible. Because that's a normal thought. That's a thought most people would think. I mean, what else are you going to think? I mean, there's not too, like, you're going to think that people are controlled. And so at a certain point you go, whoa, you step back, you're like, they're controlled? Or say, okay, if they're not controlled, then what's happening? And so you go, they're in on it, right? Like they have like Truman Show or something, right? Like they have little mic pieces in their ears, and what? You would have to have video cameras inside the house and someone else outside the house watching it. And then that's the only way that you would think that it could be possible. You go, okay, are they messing with me? Like, what's going on? And so you'd have to look at it like that. And so you think like that. You go like, okay, they're in on it. There must be cameras, and they have little microphones in their ears. And as soon as I go to get out of my room, someone's going, go, 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 go. Get out of your room now, go. And go right in front of them. I mean, that's honestly what it's like. And that's one of the only possible conclusions one can come to. I mean, it's the only obvious thing that a normal, rational person would be able to conclude and think is what's happening. That's a normal reaction. Because you realize it's not possible unless that's what's happening. That's the only way possible, right? They must be in on it or something, right? So they got cameras in my room and they're going, go, go, go. Okay, he's going to the kitchen. Keep going, go, go. Like, that's what it must be. Or what would be the only other options, right? Would be that they're controlled. And somehow, and then that's where you really go, whoa. You go, they're controlled. That means they're controlled where they... Remember, if it's happening to you and it's only for your thoughts, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Someone goes right before you. I want to get a slice of pizza. Someone comes out of the room and gets a slice of pizza. So what you can conclude from that is, well, one, whatever I'm trying to do, they keep having other people do it, to try to do it before me, or to bother them, or to be annoying. So to that person, because it's what you want or what you're trying to do, and these people are being controlled. And so you have to realize that. So then that's where you really start thinking about, like, okay, like, this is when you think, how can people be controlled? Well, I just told you, this is a prime example, and this is what happened. And so what I'm saying, and it's a natural, normal reaction for any person to think, because why? Because it's the only reaction. Really, it's really one of the few only conclusions a sane normal person could come up with. I mean, what? Either that or say, you're dead and you're in hell. You're in the Twilight Zone. They're in on it. They have an earpiece and someone's video cameras in your house, Truman showing it, or they're controlled. But then, right? So then you think, now that gets into a whole entire different another category and topic and thought process. Think about this. So then if you realize, you say, okay, my family is not in on it. They're not probably walking around with mic pieces on there. Yet it's one of the only possible conclusions I can come up with. So you say, if it's not that, they're controlled somehow by something, purposely, and it's doing it against me, or whatever my thoughts are. It's trying to do it for whatever reason. Could be something else. But whatever it is that they're being controlled. And so think about that. If they're being controlled to, say, go to the bathroom, or not only just get something to eat, but specifically like certain foods, like a slice of pizza, a can of soda, specific items that you want, a breadstick from the kitchen, make a tuna sandwich, and they grabbing the tuna. Okay, specific things like that. Is that you realize that not only so they're being controlled, because obviously it's doing it what you're trying to do. So when you try to do it, they do it. So you realize they're being controlled, and then you say, and you stop and think about that, and you go, they're being controlled. So what does that mean? That means they're being controlled. That means that their thought, not only just their thought, but their actual physical body, or their physical feelings within their body, like the urge to go to the bathroom, okay? Because you can't just have the thought, I want to go to the bathroom and go, right? uh, so what I'm saying is that, so not only are they controlled, but think about that. So for all the items that they're trying to do is that means that every thought that they have, what they want to do, when they have the thought, oh, I want to go in the kitchen and get a slice of pizza, not from my thought, what I'm thinking, but what they're thinking, because they're the ones doing it, is saying, so when they have this thought, say, oh, I want to go get a slice of pizza, and they go like this right before me as I'm going to get a slice of pizza, and you realize they're controlled, that means that their thought wasn't even their own. That this idea that they wanted to get a slice of pizza, they wanted to get up, and they wanted to go at that moment to do it, wasn't even them. They were completely controlled. Completely controlled. Like a robot or something. Like, I'm just gonna go get a slice of pizza. And so what I'm saying is that, so that means they have no inability to actually think for themselves, because everything that, see, they don't know, but I know, because I'm witnessing it, I'm watching it happen. And so what I'm saying is that means that this idea that every thought and action, even down to when they want to go to the bathroom, a physical, like, the urge, is that it's not even like they have no control, or they have no ability. Everything that they do is nothing that they actually want to do. Nothing of their thought is of their own. Nothing. So this idea that they want to go to the bathroom is they think it's their thought. They think it's what they want to do, and that they want to go to the bathroom. They want to get a slice of pizza. I'm hungry. I want to go to the bathroom because I feel like I need to go to the bathroom, and I want to go to the bathroom, but it's not. None of those thoughts are even their own. That means that they're literally being controlled. See, to them, they think it's normal because they don't know. But I know, because I can see when I go, I want to go to get a slice of pizza, and then they go and go, boop, 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 and go get a slice of pizza and eat it. I know, because it keeps happening to me. So I know that they're controlled. I know that they're being controlled, and that their thought isn't even of their own. This idea that they want to get a slice of pizza, or they want to go to the bathroom, they want to go watch TV in the living room, is not even their thought. Is completely controlled. Basically, that everything that they think is of their own that they're doing isn't. They have basically, it's like they have no inability. Everything that they think, but the thing is, they think it though. They think that they're the ones coming up with the idea. Oh, I want to go watch TV in the living room, but it's not, because I know, because I witnessed it. See.